Hey, welcome to a new video. Today it's going to be all about the Honda NSX. We're at Route KS in Suzuka. We're going to be meeting with the owner, the man behind the craziest collection of NSXs in the world, and get full access to all his cars.
ルートケース代表の、河合です。この仕事は、僕自身今現在54歳、27歳の時に初めてこの NSX-R に乗りました。それからずっと乗ってるんですけども、32歳の時にこの仕事を始めました。今現在、約20年ちょっとやらせてもらってます。
And you know, this is actually a shop I've been meaning to visit for such a long time. You know, it's always trying to find out the right timing to do things, and today is the day that I finally get to nerd out in what is the most insane shop around the NSX. You know, they have probably the biggest stockpile of the top level NSXs in Japan. Very low mileage cars, and we're going to be able to not only check out their main shop here in Suzuka, but also move to their second location and a secret facility where some really special race cars are hidden. So while the biggest bulk of the collection that we're going to be seeing today is going to be at the other two locations, this main shop just outside Suzuka Circuit really does hide away some really special cars. We've got this beautiful red example here. These are not NSX-Rs. Not that's, you know, it's taking away anything from the regular version of the car. But again, you know, super clean versions. This black one has only got 3,000 kilometers on it. Of course, all manual cars. And over here, we have a special color here that we're going to be pulling off the cover from. And this one here is probably the most special one in the shop. This has 1,144 kilometers on the clock. Basically, you know, barely running. Beautiful red example, unmolested. This really does belong in a collection. And you know, there's really cool stuff all around the shop, including this NA2 body in white. I mean, you just don't see things like that. This is, you know, pretty much what a race team building a Super GT, or back in the day JGTC race car, would purchase from Honda, and you know, then build up with their custom carbon fiber body panels. But the aluminum chassis in there, flat white, is just something you don't see. We actually came across one of these at the Vantec collection up in Gunma, but to see one here in full display really is something else. Of course, can't have a specialist without a nice engine display. And of course, we have the heart of the NSX here, beautifully restored. Looks like it's just come out of the production line at Honda. Just some of the jewels you can expect to see if you visit Route KS here in Suzuka. And for anybody that's kind of interested in the history behind the NSX, and in particular the NSX-R, I really do advise that you come and visit the shop, because they have this really nicely laid out information board, kind of breaking down what the NSX-R is all about, starting off with the 92R, the early version of the car. So I didn't even know this, but only 465 units were built between 92 and 95. You know, that really kind of cements just how special and rare this car is. But it doesn't get any more special that the NA2, only 155 of these were made between 2002 and 2005. So you can imagine, you can really understand actually why the prices have kind of skyrocketed as they have. And the crazy thing about Route KS is that, you know, 120 of NA2 Type Rs have gone through them. So out of 155, that's over, you know, 2/3, and 200 units of the NA1R. So these guys are pretty much as specialist as you can get. All right, so I've been given special permission to take off the cover of this really rare color NSX. Can you guys have any guess as to what it is? Look at this, absolutely beautiful. I'll go around and carefully take off the cover without damaging anything. Absolutely spotless. NSX-S. So this is a beautiful example of a Type S. Only 200 of these cars were ever made. The blue is actually not as rare as I assumed, but only 200 Type S's make it the second most valuable version of the NSX after the Type R, obviously. And this car has covered only 18,000 kilometers, and I swear it looks brand new in here, right down to the seats. But I guess it's time to move to the really rare stuff. And hiding here next to the window is the Honda Motocompo. These things have actually shot up in price pretty much like anything that's collectible these days. Of course, these were the foldable 50cc scooters that used to fit in the back of the City Turbo, and their kind of modern interpretation that was launched some time back.
NSX は僕鈴鹿サーキットをよく走るんですけども、サーキットでのポテンシャルがすごくいいと思って、特に鈴鹿の1コーナーから S 字にかけて曲がるコーナーが、この車は多分ホンダでは最高、国産の中でも僕最高じゃないかなと思ってます、今現在でも。
All right, so I am here at the second location. I'm going to keep the outside of these buildings, out of this video because obviously it's filled up with really valuable stuff, as you can see behind me. I'm going to check out each of these very special NSXs one by one, kind of, really dig deep into what makes these cars special, and then get to the really valuable stuff up there in the back, standing on the bend pack stackers, and kind of touch on what probably everybody wants to know about these cars, the values. These things are probably the most expensive modern day supercars in Japan, and the prices just keep going up because there's just so few of them. So let's get busy and check out each car one by one, starting with this beautiful yellow NA1 NSX, which actually is owned by Kawai-san. This is the car that he has slightly modified and kind of prepared for racetrack use. He does go out at Suzuka Circuit often, mainly because, of course, the track is literally outside his shop, so he takes full advantage of that, and in the process has created a very cool approach to building an NSX track car. At least in my regards, it's really probably the best approach you can do with these cars. You want to fiddle around too much with the way they look. You want to keep the body and everything outside, as is. He's added some Mugen wheels in that old school bronze finish that Ray's used to do. Hasn't touched the brake calipers, left the stock NSX calipers. He's added some aftermarket pads, and obviously taking care of all the piping with the hoses, braided hoses. He's even got like a temperature scale there, the ones you stick on. Over here, seat protector to keep those valuable Recaros nicely protected, but he's kept it simple. There's nothing added to the interior, it's all stock. There's a lap timer in there that he adds at the track. And then as we get back here, he's actually changed the wing to a kind of slightly NA2 inspired carbon fiber version, which sits a little bit higher, kind of hinting at the fact that he does take it out on track. Route KS sticker on the back, vented hood at the front, which you can't really even see from, when you see the car like this, you don't really notice that there's a air outlet, kind of like the NA2s up there. Kind of looks almost similar to the base OEM spec NSX-R. I just love the bronze against the yellow, and this car actually runs the black Recaro buckets I actually do spot a bit more carbon here on the B-pillar. And I think he's added an exhaust system, which we can maybe see. Yeah, there it is. Little titanium tailpipe. We probably will take out this car later on, kind of hear it and see it in action down the road, and indulge in some amazing, rare Honda goodness.
NA1、NA2、NA1、このリトラクタブルのタイプ R は僕はこれが好きでサーキット走ってるんですけども、3リッターの5速マニュアルっていう重量も1230キロという、もうホンダの中ではタイプ R の中では一番軽量タイプのタイプ R なんですけども、これがどうしてもサーキットでの動きが僕はとても大好きでこれ乗ってるんですけども、一方あちらの NA2 のタイプ R なんですけども、あれはこれの進化バージョンになるかと思うんですけども、僕自身サーキットをこうガッと攻めたことないので、正直全てがどこの部分がいいのかっていうのは言い切れないもので、いつかはあれをサーキットでもっと激しくテストしたいなと思います。ですので僕の中では今こちらがベストのタイプ R かなと思います。
Let's get going with the rest and just look at the lineup in front of me. This looks like what dreams are made of. If you're into NSXs and especially the R version, then this is what your dreams at night will look like. Just look at this. Right, I think we should probably get going and start off with the first generation cars, the 92 onwards Type Rs with the pop-up headlights. There's quite a lot, as you can see, and what Root KS really does concentrate on is making sure that they pick up the best of the best. And there are some slightly higher mileage cars here, like this one for example has 80,000 kilometers on it, but then you get to the really rare stuff. This red one here for example only has 5,265 kilometers on it. So value wise we're looking at 150 million yen and up, so about $1 million and up, depending on who really does appreciate the value of a car like this. You keep going, got another NSX NA1. This one is white on white. It actually has the stock wheels the car came with. This is something I did not know. I did not know that it came with this kind of like pearl white finish 5-spoke wheels. These are actually the optional wheels that the car was offered with. This car, 6,300 kilometers on it, basically just run in. Again, this would be $1 million and up, depending on whether they're able to find customers that appreciate the uniqueness, the value, and just the rarity of these cars. And then we get to something ridiculously cool. So finished off in premium white pearl, and as you can see from the license plate cover with the hot version logo and the color matched roof, this is actually Keiichi Tsuchiya's old NSX-R that he had custom ordered through Honda. Kawai-san managed to source this, so the car is actually sitting on aftermarket wheels. But just the fact that Keiichi Tsuchiya owned this car is so special. I actually shot this car so many times back in the day when I spotted him at hot version events at Scuba and Fuji Speedway. The car will also come with a little memory book full of pictures of how the car was used throughout Tsuchiya's career. And it's good to see that he actually got to drive it properly. I mean, he put 58,000 kilometers on the car. It was featured on so many videos back in the day. Really amazing to be in front of something so special. Of course, from 97 onwards, it was when the Type S Zero came out. These cars were so special because, first of all, they still had the original kind of pop-up headlight look of the NA1s, but they were fitted with the 3.2 liter version of the V6. And for the Zero versions, of course, these were actually slightly cheaper when you picked them up from factory. They were basically the lighter version of the NSX Type S, perfect for people that wanted to take these cars out on track. 33 of these were made. Kawai-san was actually telling me that probably half of them got crashed which is a pity. Some were fixed, some were poorly fixed, some were just scrapped. So it's a bit hard to say how many of these Type S Zeros survived, but you know, Kawai-san does know his stuff, and he has a couple here, including this Monza Red example, which has 62,000 kilometers on the clock, which makes it kind of high mileage for this type of car. But because it's such a rare car, out of 33 made, this is probably a good $500,000 more than a regular Type R, and that's absolutely crazy if you think about it.
このタイプ R は92年から95年間の3年間の期間限定生産だったんですよ。それで約450台出ました。95年以降はタイプ R がなくなって、その期間は普通の3リッターのクーペだけだったんですけども、97年に 3.2 リッターに NSX-R なったんですね、マニュアル車全車。その 3.2 リッターになった97年の時にタイプ S っていうのが存在しまして、それはスポーツ車として普通の R じゃなくてスポーツワインディング車として出たんですけども、そのワインディング車の中でもタイプ S0 っていうタイプがあったんですけども、それはタイプ S に対して重量約50キロほど軽くしたモデルで1270キロっていうスペシャルな軽量化をして出たのが97年から2001年12月までがタイプ S0 っていうのが存在しました。で2002年にでタイプ S0 は約33台と言われてますけど、よく雑誌とか SNS とかでは10何台とか20何台とかって言われてると思うんですけども、おそらく33台かなとは僕は思ってるんですけども、ちょっと僕も調べた結果ですけど。
Then we get to this corner of storage number 2. We have NA2 goodness here. We have an NSX Type S NA2, so basically the facelifted version of the non-Type R. And then we get into not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, but 8 Type Rs. One of which is so rare. So this is actually Kawai-san's original NSX-R order that he placed at Honda. He actually opted for a few little differences. You'll spot that it actually runs a black hood, and the cowls on the projectors under the clear headlights there are actually painted silver compared to what the regular cars like this came with the white cowls around those projectors, making it look a little bit different, and obviously making a one of one because no other NSX-R NA2 has been spec'd like this. So value of these cars, absolutely incredibly through the roof, but we'll talk about that in a second. So the thing with these cars, yes, they are part of the Route KS stock, but they are more Kawai's own collection in the fact that he knows just how quickly these cars keep appreciating, and he's not really in a position to sell right now, so he does have a lot, but he wants to hang on to them because he knows that these cars will continue to rise in value, and there's no real reason for him to sell them off right now. He's basically just searching throughout Japan at finding the best NSXs and NSX-Rs and of course the Type S Zeros that he can find, securing what is left. And the crazy thing is, he was saying that up to 90% of all NSX-Rs have remained here in Japan. There's only about 10% abroad, and usually 100% of those are the Rs. So people are really trying to export and get into the best of the NSX with the Rs. But Japan still very much protects these cars, you could say, and there's a lot of appreciation for these cars, building with collectors around the world. And for me, an enthusiast of the JDM world, it's really nice to see that these cars are getting the recognition that they deserve. They're so special. Starting with the NA1, of course, that car was signed off by Ayrton Senna and set up and finalized at Suzuka Circuit, pretty much the town we're in now. So it just makes it so much more special, and it's good to see that these cars are beginning to get more appreciation the world over.
販売に関してはやはり R は特に販売はさせていただいてます。前期型のタイプ R は約450台、後期型のタイプ R は約150台、合わせて600台タイプ R っていうのが日本国内だけの生産モデルとしてあるんですけども、その600台のうち僕の中ではだいたい300台ぐらいは販売しています。そういう実績はあって、今現在もこのような在庫としてコレクションも一部あるんですけども、販売車両としてもあります。そうですよね。売らないっていうとね、皆さんになんかちょっとあまりいいイメージじゃないと思うんですけども、やはり自分の中でやはり置いておきたいっていうものもやっぱり心の中ではありまして、でもただもちろん販売はさせていただいてますので、問い合わせください。
We have a nice lineup of wheels here, all the way from the regular OEM wheel to the Mugen and to a few more options. And I had no idea, like I mentioned before, that the NA1 Type R actually came with these 5 spokes finished off in that pearl white. The wheels are actually made by Enki. These were the wheels that were actually optional. Here on the inside of the shutter we have a nice breakdown of the production numbers, kind of hinting just how rare these cars are. You can see between 1990 and 2005 all the different versions of the car. So we have the retractable and fixed headlights, so NA1, and then the second version of the NA2. Only 105 of the coupes were made, and only 150 of the Type Rs. So you can understand why they are so valuable. And it's all broken down even to the Type S 0. Only 33 units were made from 97 to 2001. So it was kind of like a Type R without being a Type R, which makes it really special, and hence why it's even more valuable than the NA1 Type Rs. And then of course the NA2R, 150 units produced between 2002 and 2005. And the crazy thing is that one of the very first press cars that I got from Honda back in the day when I first started my career in journalism was an NA2 Type R. I got it in 2003. Honda gave it to me for a week. I actually picked it up in Tokyo at the Aoyama headquarters, which is actually now being torn down. And I got to drive that car down to Nagoya. I think I did a massive road trip, put almost 2,000 kilometers on it. And it remains to this day one of the most memorable press car drives that I had. And it was special back in the day. I did understand how special the NSX Type R version was at the time, but it wasn't that crazy. It was definitely the most expensive Japanese sports car at the time, and it felt amazing to drive that and use it as my own car for a week. But little did I know that these cars would appreciate to the levels they have today. And I guess we should probably touch on that. So we have a few very low mileage cars up there, and those cars are probably in the region of 300 million yen, which puts them at about 2.2 to 2.5 million dollars. And like I said, the values just keep going up. And things like Kawai-san's very special order NA2 with a black hood and the silver headlight cowls. I mean, how can you even price that? It's one of one. And if the regular cars are selling for, or at least valuable to the point that they can be sold for 300 million yen, what are you going to price a one of one at? So it's very much a buyer's market, but also kind of very much protected by the sellers, in that everybody knows that these cars keep going up, and there's no real reason to sell them unless, of course, personal situation forces you to do so. But you can only predict that these cars are just going to keep going up and up and up in value until the market kind of, you know, halts it at some point. But who knows when that's going to be, and who knows what price point that's going to be. So incredible to be in the presence of a collection like this, and I just feel happy and, you know, kind of content that I got to experience not only the NA1, thanks to Ben 2 years ago. He gave me his car. He basically told me, use it as your personal car, your daily driver for a month, and that's exactly what I did. One of the most memorable experiences, and of course what I just mentioned, when I got to drive and borrow the NA2 Type R from Honda. Right, the reason I'm going back is because I just heard that this car here has only 1,195 kilometers on it. And the one next to it has 924 Ks. Literally not even running yet. How incredible is that? These cars are just pristine, perfect condition, and possibly the most valuable, rarest Japanese supercars ever created. Let's go inside, check out some really special cars. Oh my god. Holy shit. Well, first a GT car. But this, if I'm not mistaken, is the Esprit demo car that I actually shot in Suzuka circuit many years ago. Transformed. Alright, so like I was saying, it's good to see this car again, because I shot this like 12 years ago. I had to check on Speedhunters, but it went live I think around 2013. Of course this car used to be white. Since I shot this car, it actually got transformed a little bit further, a bit more aggressive aero, mainly most of the body panels are carbon fiber now. And the reason this car is here is because Esprit is actually selling this. They want to get rid of this. They've kind of finished the development with this car. And you know what makes this car really special is the fact that it was the very first NSX in the world to have the engine rotated 90 degrees, and I mean road car. Of course, you know, the race cars always had that, and turned into a time attack car, sequential, Hewland sequential, transaxle transmission. It's been further evolved in that time I shot it. And it's great to see it here, looking as fresh as ever. These cars just don't age. And it looks amazing, wrapped in that kind of Type S blue. And over here, we have the Rockstar GT500 NSX. This thing is from 2009. So it was number 18 in the 2009 season. Built by Dome. And that's another company we need to visit. Dome are the carbon fiber specialists of Japan and the guys behind most of the GT cars and Formula Nippon cars in Japan. But amazing to see this beautiful race car here. Kind of perfect example of just how cool Super GT used to be when they really took that street car base and turned it into an extreme race car. Whether now, I mean, there's very little resemblance from street car to Super GT car, but this generation of race cars will remain the best that there ever was. Right, so next on the agenda here at Route KS is to actually take out Kawai-san's yellow NSX-R that he built for the racetrack, and maybe another of his cars based on a regular NSX. You know, the cars that he uses the most. We're gonna take them out here in the countryside of Suzuka and enjoy two very special cars before the sun sets. So yeah, we had the chance to take Kawai-san's yellow NSX-R built for the track out, as well as that Monza red example back then. Both his cars that he uses, you know, while the others are nicely cocooned away in his storage. It's been epic meeting with Kawai-san and seeing his incredible collection and the work that he's put in over these last 20 plus years to create, you know, one of the biggest NSX collections. He's become the world #1 specialist when it comes to NSX-Rs and anything to do with the NSX. And it's just amazing to learn more about these cars and see them, you know, very, very well looked after for the next generations to really enjoy and embrace these cars. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you check back soon for more, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.